Book 1. The Setting. 1. Aptan Lam wanted to go home. In the last 6 years of fighting, he had stayed overnight in his home village only once, and that night he had hidden in the shadows of a thicket and left as soon as he had killed his man. Lam was a policeman, a professional who shunned politics and avoided discussions about ideology. He owed his training to the Vietnamese, in whose security service he had worked after World War II. He had broken with the Communists in 1954 and subsequently had fought against them. The Saigon government, though glad of his services, held him suspect, refused him promotions, and transferred him frequently. But Lam was given what he valued most: freedom to operate as he chose. A middle-aged man with an unmistakable air of authority, Lam looked and acted like a cop. Even in friendly conversation, he gave the impression that part of him was holding back, watching, listening, judging, respected by the villagers because he did not tax them, and hated by the Viet Cong because he could trap them. Lam rarely accompanied the army into Viet Cong hamlets. Instead, he let the Viet Cong come to him. When he had a tip that a VC leader might be visiting a government-controlled hamlet, he told no one. That way there was no chance of a leak. Even his squad of special police frequently did not know where or why he was taking them. The trapped Viet Cong rarely fought. The surprise was too great. A door would suddenly be kicked open and there would stand Lam, backed up by a dozen police with submachine guns. In May of 1966, Lam was told that Trong Mai, an important VC cadre, would be sleeping with his wife on a certain night in the VC village of Bien Nha. Ordinarily, Lam would not have acted on that information. Trying to slip undetected into a VC hamlet was too dangerous. Most likely, his police would be spotted by the hamlet sentries and end up in a firefight with the local guerrilla platoon while the VC leader escaped. But Bien Nha was different. It was Lam's home. He knew the back paths and hedgerows, the gates and the gaps in the fences, the backyard runs of the children and the houses of VC families. The evening Trong Mai was due home, Lam put on the black pajamas and conical hat of a farmer and stuck a snub-nosed .38 revolver in his waistband. Unaccompanied, he left district headquarters and padded barefoot to the bank of a nearby river, where he climbed into a small sampan. It was dusk when Lam reached the village. The VC sentries saw his sampan turn into the bank, but before they could walk to it, Lam had ducked into a nearby thicket. The sentries walked back to their outpost without raising the alarm, having assumed Lam was a farmer returning late from the district market. Lam stayed crouched in the thicket for several hours, patiently waiting for the families to finish their dinners, for the children to go to bed, for the dogs to curl up under the houses, for the women to wash the dishes, for the men to finish their strong moonshine wine, for the lights to go out. The Viet Cong did not mount strong patrols inside their hamlets at night. Instead, they guarded its perimeters. By midnight, Lam was walking slowly through the backyards with no worry about an ambush, and with only mild concern that he might accidentally bump into some VC on the move. The home of Trong Mai was near the house in which Lam had been born, and where his mother still lived. Lam and Trong Mai knew each other, but not well, for Lam was 10 or 15 years older. Although since choosing sides, neither man dared visit his home on a regular basis, their families were immune from the violence. The relatives and children of both sides were equally vulnerable to reprisals, so no man dared strike the family of another, lest his own family suffer 10 times over. At 1 a.m, Lam passed by his mother's house. Its lights were out, but lanterns were still flickering in a few other houses, and it was toward one of them that Lam carefully walked. When near the hedge which surrounded the house, he stopped and stood for several minutes in the darkness, listening to the low drone of conversation from within the house, and watching for any movement outside, in case Trong Mai had brought a bodyguard home with him. Once satisfied that Trong Mai and his wife were alone, Lam moved rapidly. Revolver in hand, he walked up to the gate in the hedge and felt along its hinges for any booby traps. Finding no tripwires, he untied the rope latch, opened the gate, and entered the front yard. Without pausing, he proceeded across the porch and kicked open the front door. Trong Mai was sitting at a table in the center of the room, a small cup of tea in front of him. His wife was off in the corner tending the hearth. The wife was startled. Trong Mai was not. In the second during which the door had come banging open, the Viet Cong leader knew what would be next. It took Lam only an instant to cross the threshold and level his pistol.